What's up everybody, Coach Mills here coming at you with a brand new Valorant video, and Act 3 is now live with patch 1.10 and Icebox is released, so we have to break down the entire patch and all the changes to competitive and ranks and different things that you should know about whether or not Icebox is going to be available in ranked. Let's break it all down right now. But the Game Leap website has a special 50% off sale, so if you want to master any agent, we got in-depth agent courses, advanced VOD reviews, tips and tricks, and much more. Do yourself a favor, don't miss out on this amazing opportunity in the links down below. But without further ado, let's jump into this act review. Now, while we're gonna dig into patch 1.10 in just a second, you should know that ranked is gonna be temporarily disabled. By the time you're watching this video, it might be already back online, but there's gonna be a down period over the course of this day. At some point, it will be put back on. But if you can't play competitive, don't worry, it will be enabled soon. Now, jumping into the actual patch notes, we got lots to talk about with changes to Deathmatch, changes to ranked, alterations to the competitive queue, a brand new map, and preferred server select. Now, kicking it off right off the bat, we gotta talk about Icebox, which is the brand new amazing map. And for those of you who haven't seen it, it's actually phenomenal with an icy landscape. Tons of verticality on this map, zip lines, ascenders, which is ropes, more vertical zip lines. There's just so much crazy things that they're experimenting with on this map, and I'm extremely excited to play this in competitive queue, and I'm sure you are as well. However, the map will not be available in competitive queue right away. You see, they want players to get more familiar with the map and make sure that a lot of the bugs are ironed out beforehand, so they're actually putting the map or releasing the map in a quote-unquote beta state for at least 2 weeks. Now, during this time, the map is going to be playable in unrated, spike rush, and deathmatch mode, but they are still going to be optimizing it, and it's not going to be available into competitive queue right now until the 27th of October, but that actually could change. That could technically be pushed up or pushed back depending on bugs or how well it's running or things like that. But as it is right now, Icebox is just going to be something that you can mess around with in the new deathmatch mode, which I'm going to talk about at the end of the video. Now, for those of you who want to learn all the tips and tricks about Icebox early, smash that like and subscribe, because we're going to be doing an Icebox breakdown on this channel so that you know all the legitimately overpowered angles and things like that. But let's move on to the competitive updates. So the competitive Act 2 is going to, of course, end with this patch, and it's going to start Act 3. Now that means all the progress towards your Act rank for Act 2 will be saved, and you're going to be put back in placement matches for Act 3. Now you're going to have a chance to climb. Did you get to your goal this competitive act? Definitely let me know in the comments down below. And what is your new goal for Act 3? Now, all the competitive players are going to get their Act badge for Act 2, and remember, you needed at least 9 wins in a certain rank to get the Act rank badge for that rank, or it would go down to the next rank that you had 9 total available, where like a diamond one would count for a plat 3 one, plat 3 one would count for a plat 2 one. You get the picture. Now, more interesting than that though is now we can have preferred servers, and it will allow you to select the server that you want to play on, and you will have a much better chance of playing on the server you want. So you're not going to be stuck with like 100 ping when you're on the East Coast. So this is actually really cool, and it basically just is going to create more balanced matches, which I think the vast majority of us can get on board with that. On top of that, rank disparity is capped now from 6 competitive tiers down to 3. So for instance, a plat 1 can only play with a gold 1 at the lowest and no lower, which is probably also just something to create more fair matches. We talked about this before, and this could, as a consequence, create more smurfs, but they're doing more things to fixing the upper ranks of play, so we're gonna have to wait and see how this truly affects the game. Now, on top of that, the Immortal Plus rank changes have finally been cemented. So basically, your change in Immortal Plus will only be impacted by wins or losses and the decisiveness of that game. So for example, yes, you're gonna get more rank up if you beat the enemy 13-2 compared to maybe 13-10. However, if you yourself were a top frag on the Immortal team versus a bottom frag, it doesn't change anything based on your individual performance. This really identifies like the idea that some people have roles. Some Cypher player is not gonna pop off and kill as much as a duelist. So it makes sense, and ultimately it's about your impact in whether or not you win or lose, and over the longevity of many games, that should really dictate your rank, and I think a lot of people are gonna like this. I already heard a lot of streamers talking about this, and they really love this change. But for everyone else, let us know in the comments down below if you would like this type of change for more ranks besides Immortal Plus. I'm definitely interested if they're going to implement it in other ranks going forward. Now moving on to the next thing we gotta talk about is the new deathmatch changes, and there's quite a few of them, so let's break them all down, because a lot of people were really unhappy with how deathmatch was. It wasn't really that competitive, it didn't feel like, so they did quite a few changes. Let's break them down. First off, they increased the player count from 10 to 14, which means it's going to be a lot easier to find people to engage with, so you're not going to run around the map not being able to find people as often. They're updating the spawning algorithm to encourage more safe spawns, so you don't just spawn and get insta-killed by someone right around the corner. And even though they increased the player amount, now they think that you're going to run into people far more often, but you're not going to spawn too close to them to where you're going to die right away. So there's going to be a flow of always being in the action. You're not going to have these like big dead zones where you either spawn and die or are running around the map not being able to find anybody. This is a pretty cool thing that they did, and overall I think most people are gonna like this change. Now on top of this, they removed the periodic location pulse, which was what everyone really complained about, but you will get one pulse right when you spawn. So the second you spawn, you'll get information about where everyone is, and then you'll be able to make decisions from there, and you will not have a pulse, which is really cool because when you're going in engagements, you don't want to have a pulse, but it makes sense, right? When you spawn, you get that information, so you don't just like walk around and you didn't know that an enemy was hiding in a corner because you just spawned, right? But this basically gives you a little bit of information, and on top of that, you spawning makes noise, so other people get to know where you are. So it's only fair, and with so many more people in the game now, you didn't really need a pulse to go find people. So I think all in all, this is just going to make deathmatch exactly what most of us wanted it to be. Not playing to win, not playing to use the radar and just watching the radar to try to pre-fire angles. It's going to be a legitimate place where you're taking duels by surprise and honing your mechanical skill. Now on top of that, they are upping the match length. Now they're doing it to 40 kills instead of 30, and they upped the time limit from 9 minutes instead of 6. They felt it was a little too short to get in the right groove, and I do feel this as well. Usually when I played free-for-all or deathmatch, I would probably play like 3 or 4 anyways, so now making them longer, it's just gonna allow you to be in that groove a little bit more. It's not really, it doesn't really matter. I mean, you can always leave if you want. And in more interesting deathmatch changes, now every single time you kill someone, you could get an automatic reload, immediate full reload of their active weapon, but specifically with the arrows in Odin, you're only gonna get 30 bullets back. Now, this is gonna be really cool because you still need to grab those health packs on the ground, but you don't have to go grab them to reload, which is gonna be actually amazing for just practicing AR gunplay. But it's nice that someone can't just camp up with an Odin and just get ammo back every time and just instant spraying nonstop. So that's pretty cool, but I do like that you're gonna get ammo back on every kill. You still have to go grab that health pack though, so you could still like maybe clutch up against 3 people, but you're still gonna have to take ground and grab these health packs. Now the last change for deathmatch is they're actually increasing the XP gain from 500 to 900, which is just more XP, which is gonna be good. I mean, pretty much not much to say about that other than it's nice to have more XP, of course. Now I'm not gonna cover the entire patch notes. If you wanna see the intricacies, you can look at it in the links down below, but there is one quality of life change that I really wanna talk about, in the fact that tournament mode can now be enabled in customs and can fit up to 12 observers, which is gonna be awesome for those of you who play in scrims, so be excited about that. Now, remember that Skye is not going to be released for another 2 weeks, which is going to be interesting. Skye is going to be a brand new character in the game, and it's going to be released around the time that Icebox is going to be playable in competitive, and that will kind of correspond with the map coming out and Skye coming out, and I'm guessing she's going to be straight into competitive, kind of like Reyna, but I don't know. Maybe they'll do a delay like with the map, but I don't really think that's necessary. We'll have to wait and see, and then all of this is going to be perfect for the giant Riot-hosted esports tournament at the end of the month. That's gonna be amazing to watch, and I'm excited to see all this. But something that's also interesting is we didn't get any big character changes, no balance changes for any characters, no cypher nerfs or anything like that. Is there any character that you think is overpowered or underpowered? Definitely let us know in the comments down below if there's anything that you would change in the next patch 1.11. But go head over to the Game Leap website if you want in-depth Radiant tier VOD reviews, advanced tips and tricks, and much more. Right now we have a special 50% off sale, and don't miss out on it in the links down below. But that's all we got for you today. Thanks so much for coming by. I'm Coach Mills, and of course, until next time,